Are we too gloomy in Britain today? Are we talking down the country? Is this a big economic problem and a political problem? Here with me is Janan Ganesh, the Financial Times political commentator, who this week wrote a much admired and remarked column attacking what he called miserablism. Janan, define miserablism.
Miserablism is the bleak and negative mood that is infusing British public life now and over recent years. If you look at everything that's happening, the common theme is negativity. So UKIP, the big insurgent force electorally, define themselves against a lot of modern Britain as it is. If you look at the leader of the opposition, Ed Miliband, the Labour Party leader, he's running against the basic shape and design of the modern British economy in a way that no opposition leader really has for a generation. And even the government itself, which has, you would think, a good story to tell about the economy, unemployment is low, growth has been in place for about 18 months, is preferring to talk quite a lot now about quite negative things. So it's anti-Europe, it's aping a lot of the UKIP lines about immigration. There's just it's quite a downbeat atmosphere in the country at the moment.
And is this just a hangover from the global financial crisis and the severe recession? Because it's strange, actually, the British economy has been growing for the last 5 quarters.
I think the British economy has been growing. Inflation, the historic post-war British disease, is no longer such a problem. Unemployment is low. And if you look back only 1 month ago, this country was threatened with breakup by Scottish nationalism. It was threatened by the loss of 40% of its land area. And how did it deal with it? It held a free and fair referendum. The campaign lasted for 2 years. It was perfectly peaceful, got quite hot at times, but it was a completely civil, democratic process. How many countries in the world, faced with that kind of secessionist movement, would have dealt with it in such a smooth manner? I think very few.
So who's to blame? Is it our political leaders, the Prime Minister, Ed Miliband, the opposition leader? Is it the media?
All of those people have indulged the mood and should stand up to it a bit more. Especially David Cameron. You'd assume that someone with a personally quite perky and sunny temperament would be inclined to stand up against it. But sometimes we have to look at the public as well and say, yes, things have gone horribly wrong since about 2007-8. There's been a crash, there's been a parliamentary expenses scandal, there's a lot of things to complain about, wage stagnation, inequality and all the rest of it. But in the round, being Britain is not too bad. There are worse things in the world.
So to paraphrase Frank Sinatra, and we want to accentuate the positive, give me 3 good things to feel about Britain today, not just saving the Union, because that was important. Get 3 more.
Well, if you look at our position in the European Union, we are in the European Union, we have access to the largest internal market in the world, 500 million people, but we're outside the euro, which has proven to be a very difficult currency, to say the least. That is not too bad a position to be in, and it was down to very good decision making by previous British governments who thought, we need this project, we don't need to be in the particular single currency project. And so we've got in many ways the best of both worlds, much less to complain about than the average European country at the moment. If you look at our jobs market, unemployment just below or hovering around 6% at the moment. You compare that with a lot of Southern Europe, even France, it's not too bad a situation to be in. And again, it reflects decisions we took with some difficulty in the 1980s and 1990s to maintain this liberal economic model. And even that is under threat if there is a Labour government that is a bit too excitable when it comes to re-regulating the economy. And the third thing I would talk about is something I think we really underestimate in this country, which is that yes, our politicians can be a bit small time, frankly, and a bit unimpressive, don't tend to think big and seem too small for the times that we live in. But are they corrupt? Are they willfully irresponsible? Can you do a lot worse than British politicians if you look at other political classes around the world? I think you probably can, not just in the developing world, but even in parts of Europe. So politically, if you look at unemployment and if you look at our position in the European Union, there are worse things in life than being Britain.
Janan Ganesh, you may not speak for cool Britannia, but you certainly speak for sunny Britannia. Thank you very much.
Thanks.